I'm happy that Dr. Warren could explain to you those chakras about which I told you yesterday. Because in one short lecture, you can't cover all these points. And if you get your realization and you progress well, then you can listen to my tapes, which are in hundreds, and you can understand the knowledge is vast like ocean. As I yesterday told you, that when you get enlightenment, you become the knowledge. It's a very confused statement. People don't understand what does it mean to become the knowledge. The other day, a gentleman came to me and he told me that my guru has already given me the knowledge. I said, how? Because he told me I have given you the knowledge. I said, but still, how is it? It is knowledge. How do you believe that he has given you the knowledge? So he said, no, mother. He touched me on my forehead and I saw a light. I said, then still, you can see the light otherwise also. How is it you have got the knowledge? So he started thinking about it. He said that, what should happen if I get the knowledge? I said, see, this is another person sitting next to you. He's a Sahajogi. He knows what Kundalini is. Also, he knows how to raise your Kundalini. He knows what is your problem, what your chakras are catching. He also knows what are his problems. So he asked me, how does he know? I said, he has become the knowledge. As yesterday I told you that on your central nervous system, you should be able to feel others and yourself, which is inside. Now, for example, a person who is mad. When he started becoming mad, he did not realize. He did not realize he is already possessed and that he is getting mad and that he should have treatment. Nothing he realized. Gradually he became mad and he is in the lunatic asylum. Or a person who gets cancer does not know he's developed a cancer. Till they say that now it's hardly 15 days, you have to die. This is on physical level, mental level. A person who is egoistical does not know that he is egoistical, that he is oppressing others and others are a part or parcel of himself. Like Hitler never realized that he was such a horrible devil, that he will go to hell. And those who were around Hitler that time did not realize that a devil is growing in this society, that a devil is going to come. Nobody realized everything, and suddenly after 11 years, he comes back as a horrible, destructive, satanic force. So, if you read the books written before his regime, they were actually supporting him. Because they said that we are getting decadent, our society is decadent, and we need a person who will take us to austerities and who will make us little disciplined. We need discipline, we must have discipline. And so they liked him. Even the young students liked him. When he went to the universities, he charmed them by saying we must have discipline, we should be austere, we should not eat this food, we should not eat that food, we should become very austere. And that thing was very much appreciated by the young people. They did not realize whether this man was a devil or not. Now, knowledge is such that in that you see the subtle of yourself and subtle of others. And the subtle of ours and the subtle of others resides in the chakras. These are the chakras which reside within us. And these chakras are the ones who cater to the need of any emergencies we have. For example, if you have to run very fast, we can run very fast. Our heart starts beating. The sympathetic goes into action. Then these chakras bring it back to normal by supplying proper energy to that part which has been overused. They bring it back to normal. When, say, on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, we have two extraction of the sympathetic nervous system. When this extraction is too much on the chakras, these chakras get separated. And there is a deity in every chakra. And when that deity sleeps off, there is a separation from the whole, because that is how we are connected with the whole. This is supposing is the vertebra, is like this. Once it is broken off, you are broken off from the whole. The control is lost. Once the control is lost, then you start working on your own. Once a cell starts working on its own, it becomes malignant. It loses that relationship with the whole, which gives it balance, a sense of proportion and coordination, how much to grow, and that's how cancer is set in. In the society also nowadays, because the society is becoming ego-oriented, we go on saying, what's wrong? What's wrong in this? What's wrong in this? As today, just now, Warren was telling you that there is a dharma within us. We have got 10 dharmas, the 10 sustenance within us, the 10 commandments that we have to obey. Why? Because if you go out of them, then you go into an imbalance, and if the imbalance is set in, then you can develop any one of these problems which come out of imbalances. That is how we cannot cure cancer, because we cannot make the cells go back to its normal condition. At the most, what we can do is to remove the cells from the body who start attacking others and making them also ego-oriented. But we cannot make them again normal cells. Only through vibrations you can do it. Because when you vibrate these centers, they become more powerful. They expand their aura. So the circle that was small becomes bigger, engulfs both the sides and bring them together. And again the deities are awakened and the cells start getting the message from the whole. This is a simple principle, which is a subtle principle. But a person who gets a cancer, how will he know he's got a cancer or not? Because there is no way of knowing it. But when you become the knowledge, you start developing the sensation on your fingers. And there are decoding words, decoding language, which tells you which are the centers catching and how to cure it. Immediately you are on the alert because you know it's happening. Now people who have, say, mental problem, they don't know they have mental problem. Some of them, they are not at all aware of it. But then they realize they have a mental problem. A psychiatrist came to see me. Today only he was with me. He's a surgeon and he treated some mentally handicapped person. He's a psychiatrist. So he finds always his finger shakes before me. This finger and this thumb. If this is burning and this is shaking, that means there's a possession working on you. A simple thing like that. Now this person can clear it out because Sir Yogi, it takes hardly 2 minutes to clear it out. But the person who has got it can be also cleared out, because once you know what is the center, and if you know the deities whom to awaken, and if you know how to awaken them, you get it cleared out. That's how mad people can also get cured. Now here there's a madman on the road. Just now when he was speaking, I was in the room. He was saying, you must seek Christ, you must seek God, and all those things on the street. He's himself mad. You see a mad leading others into what? Lunatic asylum? He's talking like that loudly. You must seek Lord, you must seek God. How? How do you seek? Just giving lectures, seek the Lord, seek gods. Is this the way? If I say now, put your attention inside, just now you are sitting before me, a simple thing. Your attention is towards me. Now turn your attention inside. Can you do it? You may say, yes, we are doing it. That's wrong. That you are not doing at all. Something has to happen within. Unless and until something happens, your attention cannot go inside. Many people just believe into something false. Go on believing into it till they suffer from it. I have seen people who have been like that, fanatics. In their old age, they become absolutely either violent people or useless or aggressive or boring. Some of them become really half mad and some of them full mads. So believing into anything without the knowledge about it is a very blind game. Now sustenance has to be there. Now we can say in India we have Sikhism, which is a very great religion. But the people who belong to Sikhism are not supposed to drink at all. After all, Guru Nanak, when he said you are not to drink, because he knew about it, he knew what he was saying about it. He was an incarnation of the primordial being. He was the primordial master. And when he said that you should not drink, now I am told that in England the Sikh people drink more than even the Scotland people. It's most surprising. Imagine. See about Islam, because Muhammad Sahib and Nanak Sahib are the same persons. He said the same thing. Moses said the same thing. Asked the Jews, what are they doing? He said strong drinks, alcohols, all must be avoided. At the time of Muhammad Sahib, there were no cigarettes. So he didn't say about cigarettes. So Muslims say, oh, cigarettes are all right, doesn't matter. You see, these things there are so many loopholes. In India, we have communities and communities like that where you go and see, you will be amazed. Like Jains, they won't eat meat, but they will drink. Can you imagine? Drinking goes against your awareness is a fact. While Mahavira has talked about nothing but Chaitanya. Buddha never said don't eat meat. That doesn't mean that you should eat meat. But what I'm saying, he never talked on that. That's not so important. He himself, Buddha himself, died because he ate a raw pork. He went to a house. You see, Buddha was a realized soul, a great personality. He was an incarnation. And he went into a house where, as a guest. Suddenly he appeared there. And the person was just a hunter. And he said, oh, Buddha, you have come to my house. What should I give you? What should I do? He said, I have very little time. Whatever you have, you give me. He said, I have killed a wild boar, but the food is still to be cooked and it will take some time. He said, all right, give me half meat. And he died of that. Even in Jainism, you will be surprised that Neminath is the first one who was the cousin of Sri Krishna. In his marriage, there was a big function and lots of birds were brought. I mean, they were Jains, imagine. And the birds and all that, when he saw so many killed, he got a kind of a feeling against it and he said, all right, no more of this. But they have gone to another extreme of vegetarianism. I mean, they can be very cruel themselves, but they don't mind that. They can be vegetarians. To such an extent that you can't imagine. So this is the problem with the religion has been, that you go to extreme of things. First thing about religion is not to go to extremes. That's the basis of every religion. For Christianity, you know, Christ has said, keep away the dead. Have nothing to do with the dead. He took out the dead spirits and put them in the pigs and put the pigs in the sea. You all know that story. But every church has got all the dead lying under their feet. You don't know how to walk in the church, they are all lying down there. Luckily, I have been living, or unluckily, I should say, living next to the church all the time I have been in London. And in the night, I see all of them coming out of the graves, and I say, oh God. And here the children sit down, pray to God and everything. And what do they get? No wonder Catholicism is bringing such a catastrophe or this so-called Christianity. I mean, the basics of every religion has been contradicted by the disciples. Because Christ is the one who controls the dead. He is the one who sucks the effects of the dead. And he absolutely banned them. Everywhere you go, any church. Only in India they don't do it. Somehow, I don't know how they have managed it. But here, every church you go, there's dead bodies lying everywhere. Sahajogis now don't go to church because they're frightened. Once a Sahajogi is caught up by a spirit, immediately he knows he gets a headache, he doesn't want to go there. But a person who is not a Sahajogi, he goes to a church, he catches the bhoot, he does not know. One of my disciples had a mother who was a Catholic lady, very staunch Catholic. And she was MA in mathematics and things like that, you see, a very staunch Catholic. She came to see me and I told her that you should give up all this fanaticism about church going, because in the church there are all these dead bodies placed there. But she wouldn't listen to me. Now, then after old age, about 60 years, they go mad, actually, really. And she started using her B-Day for WC, all sorts of things, problems arose. But she would get up in the morning of Sunday, get ready and go to church and come back very nicely. Every time it was a Sunday, she would get up, she would dress up well, go to church and come back. As if somebody was taking her down there. And somebody was bringing her back. But one day it happened that she got lost. And this lady telephoned to the police and said, what to do now? This lady is lost and my mother is lost. And she got very worried. She telephoned to me. I said, you'll find her. She's all right, but she'll come. After 3 days, she came from somewhere, God knows. Came back. And again, she started the same things, using this for that and that for that, and absolutely like a mad person. But the police said nothing doing. Now you better put her in the old man's place. So she put her in one of these places where the old people live. Now, this Mari, my disciple, she told me it's most amazing. The people who are there are mostly Catholics or Christians. They are all mad like this. The nurses are having a bad time. But all of them get ready on a Sunday and go to a church which is specially made for them. Can you imagine? Just look at this obsession. It's an obsession with us. We must know these are obsessions. We are not free people. We are slave to these things. Now, once you come to this side, the other side of slavery are our habits. They enslave us. They enslave us. I have seen now people, I once had a minister sitting with me, and Russian minister, very powerful man otherwise. And suddenly he got up. He was the host. Suddenly he got up. Oh, I must go. I said, what happened? He said, I am a sick man. I said, what's the matter with you? You see, I'm a football fan and I can't sit any longer. The football match must have started. Imagine, he was the chief host. And so many people were there, he just couldn't sit. I mean, he could not glue himself to the chair and he wanted to get up and walk. And he just didn't know what to do. I was amazed. He had no poise, no control over himself. I mean, I just thought must be some possession from this football is coming to him, or what is it? But such a grown-up, matured person behaves like this. This is nothing. Other habits that we have are much worse. And they all enslave us. We can't live without them. Anything that is in this world is for us. We are not for anything. If anything can enslave us, we should know that we are the masters of everything. If a chair doesn't make you comfortable or uncomfortable, it's not important. What is important is that this doesn't enslave you. Nothing should enslave you. The one who is a king, who is the emperor, is least bothered. If you put that person on the street, he'll sleep well. If you put him anywhere, he'll be happy. That's the person is the real emperor. But not the emperor who cannot live without complete comfort. If he's slave of the comfort, then he's not an emperor. All these things we can learn when our center here, Nabhi Chakra, is awakened. When the light spreads in that area, in the void, the green color you see, then what happens immediately in that light? You don't see anything, but the light works. Enlightenment is such that it goes into action. The light itself acts. Can you imagine? The light itself acts in you. We had a doctor who was very fond of wines, drinks, and I never tell you don't drink. I never say that because I don't want people to run away. No, nothing of the kind. You sit down comfortably, just take your realization. Then we'll see about it. This fellow gave up his drinking next day. But then he had to go to Germany. And he thought, I better try some special type of wine that he had liked. So he tried it. And then he vomited. He couldn't bear it. He said the taste was so bad. I had never tasted such a dirty thing. I never told him. It just happened. He saved money. He could buy things out of the money he saved. He was a free bird. But I don't have to tell you this because we are so addicted and identified that even if you say that this can happen with Sahaja Yoga, many people will refuse it. Our identifications have gone so deeper into our being, our hangs up, as we say, that we are not free people at all. We might be free politically, all right. But this is so superficial. The spirit is the only thing that is free within you, which has no hangs up, which has no habits, which does not stick on to anything, is completely detached and emitting joy to us. It is a thing that makes our spirit, our attention so enlightened. Now, enlightened attention, as I said, is not the attention that we understand that there's a light, we see the light, nothing of the kind. But with this enlightened attention, our awareness becomes enlightened. So that we start feeling other people on our hands. Like the other person here sitting yesterday, you must have seen. आप जरा ठीक से बैठिए, सब लोग क्या सोचेंगे? कायदे से बैठिए, अब हिंदुस्तानी आदमी. The other day, one gentleman was here and he told me that your energies are different from mine. Nothing of the kind. If you have negative energies, for the time being you will shake. Definitely you will shake for a while. No doubt if you have too much negative energies. Like once we had a program and some people were there, some Brahmins. And they were very much against me because I am not a Brahmin. They said, we'll not have a mother's program. I didn't know all these stories. They never told me. But they came before me and started shaking like this. So I said, why are you shaking so much? They said, we are Brahmins and we understand you are Shakti, so we are shaking. I said, but why are you shaking? Nobody is shaking here. So they pointed out to other 4 people. They said, see, they are also shaking. So I said, go and find out from where do they come. They went and found out that they came from lunatic asylum. I said, relatively, you should see who are shaking, are you and these people, nobody else. So if there are negative forces, do shake a little bit. But we should see again, what's the use? What's the use of getting this energy within us? That is very important because we are utility-oriented people. Everything must have an utility. As it is, what do we have which has utility in this world? Nothing. If we had something which had real utility, we would not hanker after anything else. The hankering is still on, so we should conclude that whatever we have got now is not the ultimate. The utility of the ultimate is that once you get the ultimate, everything becomes relative. Everything becomes relative. That is, what becomes relative is all these changing things, all those things which are perishable, all those things which try to enslave us, all those things, they are attracted outwardly but inside they are like snakes. And what we become is a detached personality. आपको कोई शिकायत है क्या? Sorry, yeah? शिकायत है, इससे some problem होती है. तो फिर आराम से बैठिए, पर सामने बैठे ना ये लोग उसका गलत समझ लेते हैं. Now, our idea about understanding about religion is that we go to a limited church and a limited society, limited club, do exactly the same, wear the same sort of dresses, wear the same sort of cap or things, we belong to one religion. There is nothing like that. It's all man-made. You see, it's all artificial. Whatever is man-made is artificial, you know that. They write it down also for all the clothes that are made by man. They say man-made material. So it's not God-made. We have made our own religions and we are fighting for it. The religions are something within yourself, within your being. It has nothing to do with what sort of nonsense we have made out of it. This is the quality of a person. Like carbon has got 4 valencies, you have got these 10 valencies. And if these valencies are missing, then what happens that as in the combination of chemical combinations you have seen, if one valency is missing, it becomes a negative. And then it combines with another. So there are negative and positive valencies. So if you have some additional valencies with you, then you jump onto other people. If you have less, then you catch some other people. It's exactly the same as it happens in a chemical compound. Now these valencies within us are to be there to give us a balance, and that's what Warren has told you what it means. When you get your realization, your dharma, your 10 commandments get enlightened, means you get empowered. You become that. You go beyond religion. You don't have to follow anything, you just become. You become so integrated. For example, some people, it doesn't suit to have, say, potatoes. They will just don't like it. Just don't like it. Before realize it's just the other way around. If they are not supposed to eat potatoes, they'll eat potatoes more. After realization, you won't just have it. You won't have it. You are so integrated. The sustenance within us gets so enlightened that our priorities change completely. We start judging everything on vibrations. Now we have a little girl, you have seen Olympia. She eats very little, practically solid food she does not eat. But if I give her anything to eat, she will eat. From nobody else. But if I give her anything, she'll ask for more and eat. It's surprising, she understands vibrations. If you understand vibrations, then it is very easy to retain your valencies intact because you are empowered. Not only that, but you just don't like anything else because you like the vibrations to flow. When the vibrations are flowing, the spirit is emitting through your central nervous system the joy. That is the quality of your spirit. The joy you start feeling. And when you start feeling the joy, then you don't want to give up for anything. Just don't want to give up. You want to enjoy it. So you become the knowledge and the attention which is actually placed in this area and sustained by your liver becomes enlightened. As I told you yesterday, sitting down here, if you want to feel about anyone, you can find out. Like just now, I saw one gentleman sitting little awkwardly. I thought he's not sitting properly. I said, sit properly. But then I paid attention to him. I knew he was not well. So I said, have you got any problem? He said, yes. I said, then it's all right. So with attention, you immediately understand a person, what's the problem with that person is. Sitting down here, you can find out the vibrations of anyone. For example, now we can say, if there's no Russian, that, should I say or not? Brezhnev is possessed. He's a possessed man just now. I'm going to Russia. I hope I'll take out his possessions. He's a possessed man. They are dealing in these parapsychology. Same in America, it's going to happen. It's going to happen everywhere where you try to practice these spirit and spiritualists and all that, what we call Preta Vidya, Smashana Vidya and all that, which is absolutely horrible things, calling them with sophisticated names like parapsychology and call it by what other names they call it? Charismatic movements and all sorts. It's nothing but spirits. Nothing but spirits. All these people are practicing nothing but spirits. They bring out the dead spirits and call it the Holy Ghost. Imagine. This charismatic movement is another horrible thing. I don't know how to tell you about it, but I must say that the whole science has become so subtle that nobody knows that this is the scorpious, horrible satanic force that is working through us and attracting us to these spirits. Some people said, Mother, there are good spirits and bad spirits. But why? Why? Why go to the dead? You don't know which is good, which is bad. How will you know? Why go to the dead? We have to be in the present. We don't have to be in the past. So that's one thing happens when you lose your valencies, that you go to the left. When you go to the right, you may be very austere, you don't eat that food, and this and that. You may become a very ego-oriented person. You go to another side called supraconscious, the collective supraconscious. The left side is the collective subconscious and the right side is the collective supraconscious. When I started my work, I decided not to talk about these dead spirits. I said, I'll manage without that. That's not possible. For 3 years, I never talked about it. I didn't talk about the deities. I didn't talk about anything. For 3 years, I managed it. But then among us, a lady came who was practicing all these things. And she possessed so many people. And thousands of people used to go to her. She would tell them which horse will come first. Where is the money lost? All sorts of things. And thousands of people used to throng, Here we have so few people, but let some tantrika come in, you won't be able to control your traffic. This will be the condition with any one of these horrible people coming in. And this lady really made me talk of these things. And that's what it is. They exist. So going to the left or to the right, you go into a problem because you enter into an unknown area which is very dangerous. Very dangerous. For your information, cancer is caused by left side movement. I have not seen one patient of cancer who has had no such experiences. For example, these fake gurus or this initiation by these horrible people or reading the books of these left-sided things like, what's his name, is Rampa, Sampa and all these so-called Buddhists. Any one of these things can cause cancer. And recently I saw a very good film on this by your television here, English television. They showed where some doctors had made an investigation and they said that they have seen that the cancer is triggered by some proteins which they recognize. They call them as 52, protein 52, 58, that's the name they give. But they recognize that they are coming from the area which is built within us since our creation. So it is the collective subconscious. And they have pictured also that, photographed. So now, though, what I have said about 10 years back, they are saying now, but they are reaching that point. They have to just cross the limit. They have to just get the realization. And because the doctors cannot reach that area themselves, they cannot cure cancer. At the most, they may stop it, they may try to reduce the possibilities and all that, but complete cure they cannot give because they cannot extract people from that area altogether. They can always be drawn into it if that area is made like this. It's very interesting to see how these things are caused within us. This center is one of the most important center because it gives us our seeking, and our pure seeking should be for spirit, for nothing else. But those people who go wrong, all that you see in such people who have bent their forehead before wrong people, They develop a ridge on their head. And there are 11 centers here, which just come out like a ridge. And these are the 11 centers called as Ekadasha Rudras, which are responsible for the destruction, the ultimate destruction, the Kalaki as called as, or what you call the Maitreya, or the coming Christ on the white horse. That ridge once set in, it starts developing more and more, and destruction is made. I must say, from the unconscious, many people get ideas. I have seen people drawing or showing some pictures where they show a very devilish person with a horrible this thing coming out and a squarish thing. I don't know how they get these ideas, but that's a fact. Now, the destructive forces are also on action. They are also working out their forces. We have to be very careful. We are very precariously placed. Formerly, if you had gone too much to the left and right, you would have been not so badly off, and people didn't care also so much. But today, you are so precariously placed and you are so sensitive and vulnerable that you have to be extremely careful. The rate of destruction is set in very fast, and the rate of construction has to be set in much faster. If you see along, when I see what is constructed, nothing. If you read in the newspaper morning till evening, one good news will come that the princess has delivered a beautiful boy. The rest is horrifying. You ask them to publish something nice. I told them to publish about Sahaja Yoga. They are not interested. They are interested if there's a mishap, an accident, some people died, some people killed. They want to put all these photographs, how the people were killed and what wars took place, this and that. They have no time for some good news, some good message, something of hope. They don't want it. That's how you see any organization that is working out today, how they are building up ego-oriented organization. Even charity organizations are nothing but ego-oriented. I have myself been with many associations like that and worked with them. I was amazed. These people had no charity in them. Charity is something that should come as compassion, should just flow from you. But it is some sort of a camouflage for earning better position or a better status, and all nonsense going on. A person who is charitable is actually a person who just flows. Who is the other to be charitable? If they are the part and parcel of me, whom am I going to be charitable? If this finger is paining, am I going to be charitable to this finger? I must look after it jolly well, because it's paining me. I have to do rubbing of it, whatever is necessary. I have to do it. And that's what people don't understand. All this kind of our facade will one day fall down, and we'll find out that we have been wasting our energy over something very, very trivial. Actually, the all-pervading power does everything. We do not do anything. Believe me, we do not do anything. How many flowers are turning into fruits just now? Who is doing that job? How many seeds are sprouting at this moment just now? Who is doing all that? How many children are born at this moment? In the human body, no foreign matter can stay. No foreign matter. It tries always to expel it. But when it comes to fetus, not that the body only keeps it there, but sustains it, nurtures it, looks after it, makes it grow, and when the right times come, it throws out. Who does that? We take everything granted. Take our eyes. If you are a doctor, you can see what an intricate thing has been created as eyes, that we see people through these eyes. Who has done all that? Have we done it? Can we make even one eye? And we see so many different types of eyes. This is the compassion of God. This is the power of God that is all pervading. First time when you get realization, first time you feel that compassion. You feel those vibrations. You feel that all-pervading power. You can now know that all-pervading power is there, and then you can see the maneuvering of it. You can work it out. You can work it out. Use it. You are the instrument, as I say. You are the master. Only you have to assume that power. Warren, I hope, has told you how he came to me. I don't know if he's told you. He just came with a phone call. He had my phone number, and the person who sent him gave a big idea about me, that she's not available, this is that, and all nonsense. I'm the most available person. He just called me, and I said, come along. When he came to my house, he got his realization. And now in Australia, he's transformed so many people. We have ashrams in 7 cities of Australia. England is the most lethargic, I must say. 7 cities of Australia are now there, ready to get it. There are so many people working it out, because once you get the light, you give it to others. So now we move to another center. Above that is the center of the Mother of the Universe. The Father resides in this center, previous center, the Nabhi Chakra, and rises above and then settles down on to the right side. This is the fatherhood. Say, a gentleman yesterday told me that he had trouble with his asthma. I don't know if he's come back or not. Is he here? Yes, good. Now, this gentleman has asthma. Of course, I told him that he had trouble because of too much bathing systems of India. Indians, you see, we bathe too much. Apart from that, it comes from the father's grief. His father had died, and the father himself is not willing to leave him, is worried about him. It can happen to any one of us. If a man is unkind to his son, it's a father principle. If the son is unkind to the father, so the father is hurt. It's the father principle if it is disturbed by any chance. Or suddenly father dies and you feel the pinch of that all your life. All that can work out here and you get this right heart catch. With that, you get asthma. It is said that in homeopathy they believe that with more tension you get it. Because when you are more tense, you see, you remember your father. If he was here, he would have helped you. In the subconscious, sometimes it works out. And that's how it adds to the problem. It is so simple to work out that you'll be amazed that if you have to just raise the principle of father in a person like that, who might be a dejected father, who might be a cruel father, who might be a son who has lost the father, can be anything. That you have to just put your hand on that part and just say a mantra, a chanting, which will raise or which will awaken the fatherhood in a full bloom, and you get cured. It's very simple. The center heart is governed by the Mother of the Universe. She gives us the sense of security. When you are at the age of 12 years, you see, the bone that is in front here starts emitting antibodies. It creates antibodies within it till the age of 12 years. And then these antibodies are really the soldiers of the Mother of the Universe. We call her Jagadamba in Sanskrit language. And they spread to the whole of the body, and wherever there is an attack, they inform each other and they fight it out. These antibodies are created in the sternum bone, in the front side of the, we can say the ribs, where the ribs meet, thoracic region, that part, they stay there, are created till the age of 12 years. Now what happens in ladies especially, they are the mothers also. When their motherhood is challenged, they get a problem. Like a woman say her husband is a flirt, he has a roving eyes or sort of a thing, and she's insecure. Then this motherhood is challenged. And when it is challenged, she gets a problem there. And she gets a disease of the breast cancer and all that is caused by the insecurity of a woman. If a woman is insecure, she may be with any reason insecure, she gets this breast cancer. There was a girl who was married. She was married to a Catholic or someone like that. There was an inter-religion marriage, and the people of the boys' side tried to trouble her a lot. It's very common in India, but here also I see it is so. And they tried to sort of say these things to them and that thing to her and to her parents and things like that. And she developed this insecurity within her, that she developed breast cancer. Now, when we are cruel to others, we don't know we are giving them cancers. What does it take for us to be kind to a girl who's married in our family, who has come to us? We are experts in saying things that hurt others. We learn from childhood how to talk to people so that they are really hurt. By hurting them, we give them cancers. But this only one realizes when you get your realization. Then you really understand that how much a person is suffering. Because you also feel a little pain there. Your whole style of talking, your whole style of behavior, of commuting with others completely changes. This center is very important. On the left-hand side is the mother's side, and the mother itself is. If the mother is a lunatic, you get a problem there. You might get it, we call it a heart. There are two hearts. One is the heart of the spirit and one is the heart chakra. If a mother is a fanatic, she's a woman who is very fanatic about her food, things like that, then the children get it. It's a dangerous thing to play with children like that, to have complete discipline on the children and just keep them, must walk straight like a horse put to things. And children should be allowed to have their freedom. Actually, when we suppress them too much, they become hooligans. That way Indians are better. They know how to bring up their children. They allow their children to have all the freedom. Just give them the idea of dignity. And when the children are so free with their parents in childhood, by the time they're about 4 or 5, they become extremely dignified. Like I see children saying words like, get out, get away. From where do they learn these words? They learn it from their parents or learn it from friends or someone they must be learning, because these words are normally not spoken by children. Get lost. I've seen a little child saying that, get lost. I mean, it's too much to say to someone. But it happens like that. Because we do not understand what we should talk before the children. How decently, we may be most indecent people, doesn't matter. We might be absolutely rotten people. Even a dacoit knows that he should behave properly before his children, because children will become dacoits. Even a prostitute will understand that she should not behave in a manner that the child takes to prostitution. It's a common sense that whatever we do, the children take so easily. So whatever you want to give them, whatever you want to impart them, that's how you should behave before them. But now, as the society is today, people are not paying so much attention to their children at all. They are so, still the the mothers are still like brides, busy finding new husbands. Husbands are still like bridegrooms finding new wives. And the children, poor things, don't know where to look. God knows in what orphanage they have to end up their life. Even the industries like that. I wanted to buy yesterday a pure cotton frock for a little child. I couldn't find anywhere. Not one frock I could get in the whole of Derbyshire and also in London, for your information, which was pure cotton. We don't think that children can't bear this artificial man-made fiber. It's very dangerous. It's very bad for their skin. When you were young, you used cotton. You had mills of cotton here. And why give this horrible stuff to your children, which you never had? By the time they grow up to your age, they'll have all blotches on their faces. They'll be, I don't know what diseases they may have of their skin. No one realizes this, the kind of panties you are using, the kind of things you are using for them is very dangerous. I don't know what's going to happen to them. The things they are using, you never used them when you were young. Believe me. And these are the times when they really require complete attention. And these are the times when they are absolutely tortured. Even the industry is not worried about them. Why not make some cotton clothes for little children? Actually, I would say the government must pass a law that no children's clothes should be made of any artificial things. You can have the elders with that, doesn't matter. But for the young children, you can't give them atomic bombs to wear. This is too much. And these modern times, I think, are the cruelest for children. That's why very few children want to be born in these advanced countries. We have to bear the load in India. If you are not kind to children, imagine 2 children are killed by the parents. What sort of a society we have? Every week in London city itself, I used to think in England, but they told me it's in London city, 2 children are killed by the parents. And I have not heard a single case like that in India. With this cruelty towards children. I don't know what women are up to. Where are they going to take their figures and their beauties and everything in front of God? Such cruelty exists, such self-centeredness. Then with all this, the children develop this trouble and they have palpitations. They have very weak hearts. They are in your trust. God has given you such beautiful children that you should thank Him for that. They are not some surplus quantities have come to you. It's a blessing to you that God has given you children. If one woman in India doesn't get a child, she'll go and weep and ask every god and every prophet and everyone that she should get a child. While in Germany, it is going towards minus 5% growth now. They pay to a woman who has 5 children as much as the Prime Minister, or even more than that, but she won't have. She says, I lose my figure. Where are you going to take these figures? I don't understand. What are these figures for? Who is interested in your figures? Why? Why should we make ourselves so cheap? We are mothers and we should be proud of our motherhood. Motherhood is the highest thing a woman can achieve. I mean, I have achieved it because I am a mother for thousands. And I think that's the greatest thing that can happen to a woman is to be a mother. And mother and a guru, you can imagine my plight, is much worse. That you have to tell your children something to be done and you love them so much that you don't want to say that. Then you have to play some little sweet tricks with them to bring them round. It's such an interesting and a beautiful life to be a mother. We should be proud mothers. But I would say the men too are to be blamed because they are not interested in mothers. They are interested in younger and younger girls. It's a sign of perversion, I tell you. It's a sign of a complete perversion. At the time of Muhammad Sahib, there were many women and very few men because so many were killed. So Muhammad Sahib did not know what to do. So he thought they were pragmatic, as I told you yesterday, that with the society one has to be pragmatic. So he said, all right, we have to have marriages because without marriage, any relationship of any kind is adharmic, is against the balances. So he said, we must have marriage. All right, now we have many women. So let us have distribution of women according to the men we have. If you have more men, then we'll have the other way down. But we have to marry. Means we have to take a collective sanction. A collective sanction has to be there to be blessed. So he said, all right, marry 5. But he himself, you see, was surprised at that time. People were so sensitive, they would not marry young girls. Old men would not marry young girls. They said, how can we marry these young girls, you see? So he said, no, all right, I'll marry one. Because where will these young girls go? There are no young men left. So what to do? But these days, if you ask an old man of 80 years, he would be very willing to marry a girl of 18 years. Stupid old fool, I call him. Because he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand that this girl is not going to respect him as a husband, and he cannot enjoy the life of a husband. He is a grandfather, or call it a great-grandfather. He should behave like a great-grandfather. That's an ideal relationship he should have with a younger girl. All these ideals are confused today. Our relationships with others, every woman has to be attractive. Why? Every man has to be attractive. Why? For what? What are we going to achieve out of it? What is the utility? The attractiveness is all right as long as you are not repulsive. As long as you keep the ideal relationship with others. If the relationship becomes nothing but like a dog and bitches one, it's better not to have this kind of an idea. It's absolutely wrong to run after something which is not our way. Human beings have to live with dignity and with complete sense of idealism as far as their relationship with each other is concerned. If you just say, what's wrong? Then it's anarchy. Everything is wrong then. Everything is wrong. It's not one wrong, but everything is wrong. But if you want to have a flowering society, then you must keep to your ideals of your family life. That's a very important thing, but it happens to you as soon as you get realization. I don't have to give a lecture on that. You just do it. You just become a very nice husband and a very nice wife. Beautiful families can come out of such. There are so many, you will see that. There are so many beautiful families now in Sahaja Yoga. And now the great children, the great sages who wanted to be born are being born to them. Many great children want to be born in this England, and there are many who are born. But I don't know how they are treated. If people understand them or not, they have no vibrations to see if they are sages or not. But born realized children are so many in England that I am regretting sometimes the way they are treated. Nobody knows they are born realized. The way they talk nothing but wisdom. All these children are being insulted and humiliated by us who are so ignorant about them. I must say they are very brave. They are very courageous to take birth in the countries where they are not appreciated and looked after. Another extreme is in our country, I should say, where people will sell their whole country for the sake of their children. I mean, that's going too far. That's another nonsense we do. But something in between is that you love your children, respect them, they are your trust, they are realized souls, they are sages. They are the foundations of the new world that is going to come. And this is what it is a mother has to learn. The dignity of a mother must be respected. I am sure you all must have respected your mothers very much. But now, as mothers, I don't know if you will be respected. Once this is established that a mother itself is the highest position a woman can reach, and she is to be respected, all the priorities will change among women also. Because what can they do? They have no place as mothers. So they just get fed up of their children. They think, what's the use of this motherhood? Is a thankless job. All this can only change when man changes within himself. When the transformation takes place. Just now, it is just one of the sermons that you could hear somewhere in a very, I should say, an orthodox place. But the whole, this orthodoxy becomes part and parcel of you, and you become so much tuned with it, absolutely tuned with it. You like it. You like to love your wife and nobody else in that way. And the husband likes to love her in a special way, while the wife wants to love the husband in a special way. It happens. There's no insecurity, otherwise you come back home and you find your wife has eloped with somebody. Imagine what a situation it is. I mean, since I came in first year, I got such a shock. We had a neighbor, she was 48 years of age, and her son was about 22, and he had a friend about 20 years. This lady eloped with that 20-year-old boy, and she had 3 other children whom she left. The house was sold. The whole house was, because under law, she gets half half of the property or something like that. And the 3 daughters are now on the streets. The younger 3 children, where daughters are on the street, who's going to look after them? The lady, 48-year-old lady, still a bride, going to the church and getting married. There's no dignity in this, no love, no affection. Christ you follow. Christ has said, you say, thou shalt not commit adultery. I say, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. He's gone up to that subtle stage. We follow Christ. We wear cross. We go to the church. Where are we? So I come to you. To another center now is the Vishuddhi. This is a very important center in human beings. Because when this center is awakened, you become the witness. You become the collective. This is the center of the collective being. You become, again I say, you become the collective being when this center is awakened. It's a very important center. And now as I am with you, I must tell you about what we suffer from. And what Indians suffer from, what the Eastern people suffer from is another thing. For example, Eastern people suffer from too much talking, right side Vishuddhi we call it. And the Western suffer from not talking at all, especially English, they never talk. Actually, you have to pinch them. They never laugh. That's the problem, is they'll just smile and it's regarded good manners, but this speech sometimes very boring. Now the left Vishuddhi is a thing which is very much more subtler than what we think of. Is a very funny sort of a situation where you get a left Vishuddhi, and that you get very commonly among the Western people because they have developed a new sense of guilt. I mean, everybody is guilty. Without going to the courts, without committing any guilt, everybody is guilty all the time. Like a lady, oh, I'm so guilty. What happened? I didn't say thank you to her. So it doesn't matter what is it to be guilty after all. Oh, I'm so guilty. What happened? I spilled some coffee. It's all right, doesn't matter, it can be cleared out. What is there to be guilty? But it is an unknown guilt people have. They don't know why they are guilty. Why they are getting all the time this feeling, oh God, I should not have done it. I should not have done that. What? What guilt? What guilt we can have? And this guilt is a horrifying thing. I have seen start from America, England, Portugal, Spain, Italy, all that, Switzerland, all these places, nothing but left Vishuddhi is the first problem and the last which I have to conquer. One lady got up and she said, Mother, I am guilty because of Vietnam. I said, Vietnam? It's finished long time back now. What are you going to do about it? No, but I'm guilty about it. But why? What are you going to do about it? How are you concerned with it? What is your relationship with it? Why are you guilty? I just feel guilty. I said, it's nonsense. Like that. Everybody has developed this. Now, from where does it come? Let's see the source. The first source comes from Bible, which is very wrongly interpreted, saying that you are a sinner, a born sinner. I mean, absurd. What it means is that you are the one who is only aware of the sins, not the animals. You are the one who is aware of your ignorance, not the animals. You are the one who is aware of your blindness. Others are not. Animals are not. Why? Because within you is developed that I-ness. That I-ness, as I told you yesterday, is developed because of the ego and superego meeting here. Because you raised your head. Because this chakra was to be enlightened. You raised your head and this ego and superego went and met here, they calcified, you got your I-ness, and that's why you think I've done wrong or I've done right. Animals don't think like that. They are not bothered. They have to do what they do. They want to do that. They never sit down and say, I'm guilty. Have you ever met any animal who says that? Except for the human beings? All the time. Now, this has come to, it's a myth. It's a very big myth with which you are living. It's absolute myth, believe me. There is nothing like guilt. And this guilt is eating you off all the time. It is making you an inertia. It is making you feel so much lost. And this center is very important to be opened out. So first of all, before I start any program, I tell them 1 month I should say, Mother, I am not guilty, Mother, I am not guilty, 16 times. That's the punishment for being guilty. If you are guilty, you must go into punishment, all right? So this is the punishment for you, is to say, Mother, I am not guilty, Mother, I am not guilty. Say it 16 times, and that's how you get rid of it. It's so practical. It works out. With that, you get spondylitis, you get pain in the heart, you get this hand, what you call frigid hand, all problems you get with that. And that is all because of this mythical guilt you are working on. Now, the another myth comes, the source of it, I think, is the psychologist, the so-called psychologists. They have no sense of psyche because they have no way of entering into psyche. What they are doing is recording, finding out, and trying to cure people. How many mad people have they cured? Saj Yoga must have cured hundreds. How many mad people have they cured? They have not cured anyone. On the contrary, if you go to a psychologist, you might become more mad, the way they are mad themselves. Because the psychologists, when they talk to people, they don't know they are dealing with pathological cases, abnormal cases. And when you deal with the pathological cases, you yourself get intoxicated by that, or you can say that there is contamination and you don't know how to protect yourself. Jung is the only psychologist, I would say, because he was quite a perfect person after he got realization, who talked of it, that a physician can get sick. Now they start becoming pathological, like poor this Freud, half-baked. He is the one who started talking about sex and things like that, but he himself was a perverted man. He died of cancer. What did he get in his own life? He was such a perverted man. I mean, imagine he was a wretched soul who died of cancer. How can he guide you on any point whatsoever? Now, whatever he talked, we took him as Bible. More than Bible, people believe in Freud. More than Christ, they believe in him, actually. And if you reduce it to a minimum sentence, you can say he made everyone a sex point. You are nothing beyond it, nothing more than that, nothing else but that. Imagine to reduce your dignity to that level. As a mother, I just give him a grace mark by saying, poor fellow must have dealt with pathological cases and he was caught up and he gave these wrong ideas to people. He dealt only with the psyche, with the left side, which is also starting from there, but ends up there, ends up into your superego. So, sex addiction takes you to superego, means it takes you to your subconscious mind and to your collective subconscious. Now, all your problems you are having are sex are because of this. Emotional behavior and all perversions take you to collective subconscious. There was a girl in India which is very abnormal. She came to me and she said that she wants to be with men and she wants to be with girls and she wants to marry a girl. She wants to dress up like a man. I said, really? So I gave her some Saj Yoga treatment and I found that there was a man in her. She was reduced to nothing. It was a man who was possessing her. And she was given these ideas through that man. And that's how she was talking. She was a possessed person. All these abnormalities come because you get possessed. There was a girl in Cuba who came to see me from Cuba in America, a short girl, very petite, small, good-looking girl. And she told me, her husband told me, Mother, surprising, my wife can take whiskey bottle neat like that, once she can drink it down. So I said, all right, sit down. I gave her a bandhan, as we call it. And I saw a big, huge, like a globetrotter, really a very huge Negro coming out of her. And I looked at her. I said, do you know any Negro? She said, Mother, do you see him? Do you see him? He is the one who drinks. I do not drink. She said. And when he was distracted from her, she became such a sweet wife to her husband. All these abnormal behaviors, when you overdo it, lead us to that collective subconscious where you catch all these horrible people. Also, it can lead you to collective supraconscious if you become very, very egoistical. Then you can become Hitler. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong with Hitler? Nothing wrong. He was perfectly correct when he said that he has come to save all the Aryan race and his nose was a specially made one. I mean, God must have been surprised to hear all that. I mean, you have to create some variety, isn't it? But this is what it is. I mean, these absurd things that we do in our life as saying, what's wrong? We jump into those ditches where you cannot return without some load on your head. And those loads work out all the things and you become such abnormal people. Then on the streets you will stand and shout like a madman. And if you provoke them, they are even worse. So better not talk to them and argue with them. Forget them. All those fanatics that we see are nothing but possessed people. Most of them are possessed. I would say so many of presidents and these despotic people, most of them are possessed. I meet them, I shake hands with them, they shake before me, and I know that they are possessed people. How are they there? They should not be there. They are possessed, they possess other people, they make them work out, and all this aggressiveness starts through their possessive powers. So this center is the one which brings you back to normal. And then once the Kundalini rises and touches your fontanelle bone area and opens it out, then from your hand through this center, that collective personality starts manifesting. You become the collective personality. You become. Again I say, it's the actualization. It is not that we are brothers and sisters, let us form United Nations and make good money out of it. It is actualization that you feel another person within yourself. And this is what is most important. This center, I can talk about this, I don't know how many hours, but this center has 16 subplexuses. And it looks after your eyes, nose, ear, nose, throat, everything, neck, even your face and all that is governed by this. A collective person, a collective being has a face, which has a coefficient that even the face can emit vibrations. But this is to be seen only through vibrations. You will know who is the collective being. The most important is this part of the head, where I told you that when you bow yourself to wrong things, this is the biggest obstruction, is the lower plate of the brain, which is called as Murdha in Sanskrit language. It's very important, it gets swollen up, and a big barrier is built. And you become a person completely cut off from the all-pervading power. Means all the protections, all the guidance, all the nurturing things, everything starts disappearing from your life. Now we go ahead with that center to the center here, which is very important and which I must tell you, though it's time to finish this lecture, is the center of Agya, which is placed in the center of pituitary and pineal body, which controls our ego and superego. Between the optic chiasma, a very subtle center exists. Some people call it a third eye, but the third eye they see is not the one I'm talking about. The third eye means the eye which sees inside, not outside. This center is very important and is adorned by the deity of Mahavishnu according to Indian name and English name is Lord Jesus Christ. This is a very important center. Now seek your Lord. Where do you seek him? Where does he exist? He is to be awakened and he resides here. Because most of you are coming from that background, I want to talk about it. Though Mahavira and Buddha, both of them also reside within us. Mahavira resides here and Buddha resides here. But Christ resides here in the center, inside the brain. Now, this is a very important thing which all the Christian institutions have missed about Christ. That Christ is to be born within us, that he is to be awakened within us. That is only done through Kundalini awakening. And once he is awakened at that point, the ego and superego both are sucked by him as a result of his awakening. And this is a very big thing. That's why I said, I am the door. But very nice, they crucified him. But that crucifixion was also a drama, because ego and superego has pressed these points so hard that to pass through that, you needed somebody to be just divine. And he was Omkara himself, the divine personality, who never died and passed through that. Krishna has said, who is at this point, has said that Nainam Chidanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavaka. He said, this divine power, this Omkara, never can be killed by anyone. It cannot be destroyed by anyone. And this itself took the birth of Jesus Christ to create that passage for us. And that is the thing he proved, that it cannot be killed. But they are all one and related to each other. This you will discover in Sahaja Yoga itself. Because once the rapport is established, you have to ask questions. What is the relationship between Jesus and Krishna? And you can discover eternal vibrations. They are all related to each other, very closely. Christ has said, those who are not against me are with me. Nobody has tried to find out who are those. It is said in the Bible that I'll appear before you like tongues of flames. Nobody tried to find out what is that. Or tree of life. Yes, this is the tree of life. So he is to be awakened within you. That's the main point that he said, that somebody will come and awaken it so that you will know my Father forever. Now, which one of the institutions which are running in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ are doing that job? What they are doing is having a fete or a carnival, collecting money, building churches, this, that. You have to build every human being as a church by awakening Christ in them. That was what was meant by baptism. But who did baptism in the real sense is the Kundalini awakening, where it comes on the fontanelle bone area, which is called as Brahmarandra, and breaks through that. Who has done that? None. I went to a church called Unity Church. They have united all the churches, I believe, and also united all the ghosts of the world. All kinds of fake gurus are there. All kinds. They have no discrimination of any kind. I was so amazed, Christ. He was not so diplomatic, I should say, because the way he lashed at these people, and then he said, if they are hot, we can manage them. Means if they are hot, means they are cut up, we'll manage them. If they are cold, we like them. But if they are halfway, I spit them out of my mouth. These are his words. Because these half-baked people, compromising with the devil and talking of God, how are they going to deliver the goods? Why not awaken your Christ within yourself and see for yourself? You'll be amazed when you raise the Kundalini and Kundalini comes up to this point and it cannot go further. Among all the Christians, this is a problem. You have to ask them to say Lord's Prayer and it works. That's a mantra. At the time when the center is guarded, because Krishna is a collective being, Allahu Akbar means the same. You have to put your fingers into your ears and say, Allahu Akbar. Realize souls. And you get the Kundalini rising. You can see the pulsation of the Kundalini at the triangular bone. You can see the rising of the Kundalini. You can feel the breaking of the Kundalini at the Sahasrara, at the point where it comes and breaks. So you enter through the gate of Christ, who sucks these two institutions and makes the way here. And once the Kundalini rises about Agya, you become thoughtless. The limbic area is the kingdom of God, from where you are guided and the Kundalini passes through. That's the last job that is to be done, and now it is done. That is done, now our Mass. It has to be done. It was to be done. It was promised. The time has come. But where are the people? Sometimes I wonder. I'm in England now with you. You'll be amazed that in India, these people have seen thousands and thousands are there to receive realization in the villages. Here I find people don't want reality. You should have a circus. At least English people come, but Indians, very few, and they never stick on. It's so amazing, I can't understand. It's amazing how things work out. When are we going to take to it? I mean, it's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's your own. It is spontaneous. It is there. But still, they get realization, they get lost. It's something so surprising. I've been working here, you won't believe, 10 years now. 8 years? 8 years. For 4 years, in the first 4 years, I had 6 people. They would come up, go down, come up, go down. I said, what sort of people? 4 years. Can you imagine? In India, I go for 3 months and I get thousands. Is it that there are very few who are going to be saved? As told by John, he said only few thousand are going to be saved. Is that what we are going to do in the West? But England is the minimum. You'll be amazed. Even Italy is better. Switzerland, Geneva, so much better. What's happening? Here they run after a man who is asking for a Rolls Royce. A fellow who asked for a 59th Rolls Royce, they starved themselves and made a Rolls Royce for him. And when he came, they gave him the Rolls Royce, imagine. And they said he's a perfect master. There is no pure intelligence left in the mind to understand that how can you get spirit for this nonsensical Rolls Royce. At least Derbyshire are not, people from Derbyshire should not be impressed by that very much. Because they make it here. You cannot make God, can you? You can make Rolls Royces, all right. Can you exchange Rolls Royce for God? They are running after such horrible things, like horrible another thing that somebody is trying to teach you how to fly. The wife of the director is sitting here, who started suffering with epilepsy. Her husband got epilepsy, her daughter got epilepsy. They all were epileptic and they were paying thousands of pounds, 3,000 pounds to fly. And they started hopping themselves like a frog. Imagine. With pure intelligence, you must ask that guru to drop himself from the leaning tower of Pisa. I think it was made only for that. And see if he can fly even 1 inch higher. Why not use your intelligence? You are supposed to be the most balanced and intelligent people. Yesterday I told you that you are placed. The most important place in the universe is the heart. England is the heart of the universe. And the heart is lethargic. What can I do? You have to tell me, what am I to do? To pump this heart into reality. There are seekers, I would not say there are seekers. When it came to hippism, thousands became hippies. But all absurd things they accept very easily. And why not the thing that you are seeking? It's beyond my mind, I cannot understand. Now, I didn't come to this place as an immigrant, as I told you. I came here because something happened and my husband got elected to this country, which was important, which was, I think, was preordained, was to be. But I have to implore you now to take to this and understand that this is what William Blake has told you, that the prophets are going to be in this country, that the God of men are going to become prophets and they are going to have the power to make others prophet. That is Sahaja Yoga. There's nothing else but this. He has promised so many things. He has even described the house where I lived. He has described the house that we are occupying now, exact position. He has described the ashram where we lay our foundations to. Into such details that I am amazed, such a great sage and a seer was born in this great country and nobody wants to see through. Now what am I to do? I hope very soon people would realize that they have to take a very big role, a very important and vital role in the transformation of the whole humanity and saving of this disastrous time. They are the ones who have to lead people into the kingdom of God. I can hope and bless that. May God bless you. Luckily, we have a very good standard of the Saj Yogis in Dabishar. Really surprising. And Blake has mentioned Dabishar very much. They wanted me to come to Dabishar. I said, Birmingham has been sufficient for me and I will not go to Dabishar. They said, Mother, please. And then he said, Blake has mentioned you come to Dabishar. That's how I'm here. And I hope that this center will definitely create very good Saj Yogis. Great prophets can be created out of this. After all, Blake has mentioned Derbyshire very strongly, recommended it. But what I find today when I went for a drive, there's a lot of black magic on. People are indulging into horrible, horrible things. I was worried, quite worried. It's a very dangerous thing. It's dangerous for you, for your children, for your families, for everyone. And I found those pockets. I was amazed how they are prospering here. May God give you strength and proper wisdom to understand how you are placed in relation to the great work of God. Now, if you have any questions, we can have for about 5 minutes. Yesterday, many people asked questions. Actually, first day only I allow people to ask questions because second day is quite a waste of time. Now, don't ask personal questions for heaven's sake. Don't ask any personal question. That will attend to them later on, personally. They can be attended to. But anything general, if you want to ask, please ask a question general. He's an Indian.
Have you seen God yourself?
Why do you ask this question? Are you authorized to ask that question? First you see your spirit and then we'll talk about it. Why should you ask such a question? Are you an Indian? Then at least keep some manners. Please be seated. This kind of an arrogant question should not be asked. Have you seen God? Why should you ask me such a question? What authority have you got to ask that question to me? I have to ask you a question. Have you felt your spirit? All right? First feel your spirit. That's why Buddha never talked of God. I yesterday only told you. Because suddenly you want to see God. Have you got eyes to see God? You can't see me even. How can you see God? First of all, become your spirit. Then we'll talk about it. A little child won't go and talk to a king and slap him on the face, will he? Is he supposed to do that? We must know our boundaries, our maryadas. Especially Indians must know. I'm surprised sometimes to ask such a question like that. Have you seen God? Whether I have seen it or not, why should I tell you? But what is he saying?
Leave it, please. Let's have another question.
Doesn't behave you. It's very arrogant. I'm surprised that you've learned such ways here. It's never done by an Indian. It's very embarrassing.
Any other questions?
Just imagine, if I've seen it, is he going to believe me? or not seen it. ये हिंदुस्तानियों का हाल है. हमारे तो नाक कटा के रख दी. इतना रद्दी लौट आया हुआ इस देश में. All the scum has come sometimes.
Any other questions, or would you all like the experience?
I mean, what a question it is. Have you seen or not?
Okay, everyone slip their shoes off, feet on the floor, and just simply rest your hands on your lap.
अपनी मर्यादाएं तक नहीं रह गई.
Would you like the other microphone, or is this okay? Is this microphone okay?
Oh, I would like to have because I can speak, but I will not touch it very hard. But in India, you won't find such people. I don't know from where these materialistic, absolutely gross people are there. I mean, what a question to ask me. It's never done. I'm here to give you self-realization. That's all. And you should get it. That's your right. This is a bank, I should say, and I have to sign your checks. That's all. If you get your check signed, that's all. Finished. That's my relationship with you. I'm not going to tell you about myself to get crucified again. Christ tried to tell something about himself, and they crucified him. Now, if I tell him, of course, I know about God, he's not going to accept. If I say I don't know, then he's not going to accept. Stupid. Indians are not stupid at all. They're very wise people, I must say. I'm surprised from where this stupidity has come. Very wise. Indians are very wise because it's a yoga bhumi. You know? It's such an ancient country of ours. You don't know the praises of this country. I cannot. Do not judge them by the people you see. No. It's a very great country. It's very great, spiritual, absolutely spiritual country. See, these are, I don't know what's the matter with the very superficial people have come here. Extremely superficial. There are some great souls also, I say. But don't judge. Don't judge that great country. Once I was going to India with my husband and told him we have touched our country. He said, how do you know? I said, see the vibrations. The whole country is vibrating. The atmosphere is vibrating. He said, really? I said, you go and ask the pilot. We were in the first class, we went down and I asked him. He said, sir, we just touched it about a minute back. Such a great country like that. The Kundalini of the universe resides in that country. Can you imagine? The Kundalini. And they have no desire to seek. That's the power of desire that resides there. And they have no power to seek. क्या करें? किसके सामने रोएं? I'm myself surprised. And those who have come also like gurus, horrible people making money. I'm ashamed if I am an Indian by any chance, or if, as I'm ashamed, I sometimes feel, what have they done to what we had? We have such a tremendous heritage. You are just the shoot, you are just the outside, you are the tree, we are the roots. You can't live without us. We are your roots. And these roots I see, I can't understand. Still, it's all right. It's the concern of a mother. Let's have it. Now, put your hands towards me, please. All of you, take out your shoes. You must have seeking. If you have no seeking, what's the use of coming to my program?